later. Excuse me, you think you could put the cigarette out?
No.
There's
Yeah,
smoke
it's bothering me too, man. The smoke's blowing right back in my face.
Hey, you don't like it? Move.
Hey, come on. I mean, the smoke is blowing in my face, and nobody wants you to smoke
Relax,
anyway.
man. There's a duct right over your head.
Look, don't give me that excuse. I mean, nobody wants you to smoke in here anyway, so why don't you just put it
tough.
on?
You don't like it? Move.
You can't smoke.
Is there a sign?
Listen, hey, I'm not going to argue with you, man. You either put that cigarette out or get out of here right
Tell me
now.
what to do.
I'm telling you, you put it out or get out of
Who do you
here.
think you are?
I'll tell you, nobody wants you to smoke. They don't want you to smoke. I don't want you to smoke.
I didn't ask
Get
that.
in the back of the room. Nobody wants you to smoke.
That's
Now
too
put it
bad.
out.
I'm smoking. You don't like it?
Almost burned me, you fool.
What's the matter? You got a
Fool.
problem with that? Come on.
Hey, folks. I'm sorry. Hey, guys. Thanks. Look all right? Hey, just breathe.
All right. I know.
Okay, everybody relax. Everybody relax. We set you up, but it was for a purpose, and the purpose was what you're experiencing right now was the reason we did this. It's to show that when conflict occurs, it creates stress not only for those people involved, but also the bystanders. Can you get in touch with what you were feeling? What was going on with you?
I just wanted to get out of the way out of fear.
I know probably for another hour I'll probably still be a little shaky from what happened.
That suddenly I had this giant surge of adrenaline thinking that maybe this was possibly a real fight.
I've done this thing many times, and even though I knew what was going to happen next, I found my own heart racing and my head started throbbing and energy started going. It's still scary.
I say I have to get out of here. Get out of here, because this is just too traumatic for me to absorb it. I was really annoyed with it.
And then I looked back again, and they was getting a little heated, and I said, oh, my goodness. And by that time, these pushed, so I hit at the fellow, and I jumped up directly to separate them, because I felt that somebody had to be responsible.
When a conflict presents itself to us, we're confronted with a real dilemma. Do we intervene or not? On the one hand, if we don't intervene, we run the risk later on of wishing that we had, because perhaps there was something there that we could have done, it would have helped. If we do intervene, we run the risk of maybe heating things up and actually making things worse. It tends to create a fear inside of us about what to do, and we may even exaggerate that fear, but many times for very good reasons. Now, managers very seldom ever have to confront fistfights at work, but many times people are figuratively at each other's throats about important issues. When that happens, we like to hesitate, put it off, and wish that if at all possible, the conflict would go away so that we don't have to get involved.
Managers manage people, and people are prone to disagreement. Disagreement may escalate into conflict, and conflict tends to undermine productivity and morale. So, like it or not, conflict management is a basic managerial responsibility.
By repetition. Well, we need new members, and that, Mr. Tennis Pro, is a fact of life.
Yeah, well, what about the members we already had? We can't cut down their lesson time anymore.
Howard, the sports place gives 20-minute lessons. 20 minutes!
Is that the kind of schlock operation we want to run? Is it?
Will you talk to this prima donna? He won't listen to me.
I don't want any part of this. Just leave me out of it, okay?
You are beyond a doubt the most unreasonable person I have ever met. Ever.
Most of us resist involvement, even when the warring parties press us to intervene.
Can't you think about anything but money?
If we do intervene, we may be forced to take sides. If we go with one of the warring parties, we alienate the other. The immediate solution? Blanket avoidance.
No, that's perfectly all right. We are the managers. Yes, anytime. Goodbye, dear.
Most of us welcome the opportunity to relay the responsibility on to someone else, hoping that it will get us off the hook.
That was number 3. Complaining about the stereo in apartment number 5. Now, I talked to him about it, And he said it does not matter how low he keeps that music, she's just out to get him. Now, what are we going to do about it? She said she's calling the cops next time.
So, let her. Well, they know how to deal with that kind of thing. It's their job.
A very common avoidance tactic, passing the buck. Another common avoidance tactic, pseudo-intervention. The manager hears the warring parties out, then simply hands the responsibility for resolving the conflict back to them.
She knew I needed mock-ups in time for the weekend convention in Atlanta, and she promised to deliver them. Well, true to form, 5 minutes before I have to go to the airport on Friday, Miss Priss comes strolling into my office and says, "Oh, by the way, I've only got half of them."
Jerry?
I didn't promise anything. I said we'd do our best, and we did.
Well, if that's your best, then we really are in trouble.
You come to me on Tuesday, and you want 2 weeks' worth of work by Friday. Now, sometimes you'll get it, and sometimes you won't.
I don't know what the trouble is between you two, but I have an appointment, and I want you to stay here in my office and resolve this once and for all, so we can get on to more important matters. We are adults. Agreed?
Simply instructing the warring parties to make peace seldom works, especially when accompanied by the suggestion that their feelings and attitudes are childish and arbitrary.
Most people believe that conflict is bad and therefore something that should be avoided, when actually some of the most productive and creative things have emerged from conflict, and every relationship is actually renewed and kept alive by successful working through of conflict situations. Another surprising thing is that conflict is based on caring. In fact, caring is the ultimate source of energy from which the conflict draws its power. The more intense the conflict, the more powerful the caring is that underlies it. Conflicts can be systematically managed if we can see conflict as energy derived from caring, but which is being channeled toward negative outcomes, and if we can rechannel that energy toward positive outcomes. So the first step, and often the hardest, is to find out, what do the people involved care about? What are the issues?
Sometimes the real issue is less a clash of personalities than an inherent conflict between the organizational departments the warring parties represent.
Why do they hate each other so much?
The art department and marketing always seem to hate each other. It was the same with Benson and Wilcox, you remember?
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to give this thing a while longer. As far as they're concerned, I'm still out to lunch, okay?
When the conflict is between individuals, we must always be aware that even the facts become distorted by each person's subjective perception.
Were you in apartment 3?
Yes, I was.
Well, what'd she say?
All right, we had an excessive noise complaint from apartment 5 on apartment 3. I went and talked to her. She said she only turned her music up because he wouldn't turn his down.
And it was him that called you, right?
Yes, it was, ma'am.
Well, we never heard his music. Hers just started blaring.
Well, all I know is they're each complaining that the other's music is too loud.
Well, we never had any trouble with her until he moved in. So he really must be playing that music too loud, just like she says.
What is too loud? You say you can't hear anything. She says it's driving her crazy. What are you going to do?
I don't know, George. What are we going to do?
I don't
That's going to be an
know.
impossible thing.
Well,
I
we'll
just
have to
don't
talk
have
about
go.
it.
If
No.
we don't get over
The real issue may be a disagreement over role definition. Who is responsible? And who has designated authority over what?
You seem to think you're my boss. Well, you're not.
I did not say that. I do have authority over delivery dates for the materials I need on the road.
No, you don't. You can ask for them by a certain date, but you can't dictate my deadlines. Only Till can do that.
Where is Till? It's nearly 2 o'clock.
Time flies when you're having fun.
The issue may also be disagreement over procedures. People may have the same ultimate goals, but differ on how to reach them.
The way you work, I wonder how you get anything done.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just so haphazard and disorganized. You know, your department looks like a playroom in a progressive school.
The work we do is creative. I wouldn't expect you to know what that means.
Well, I've had just about enough of your company for one day.
The feeling is mutual.
Finally, the real issue may be a disagreement over goals and the basic values that are linked to those goals.
If he gets his way, I quit. I don't want to work in a place where you con people into thinking they're getting something they're not. Hustle them in, take their money, make room for more. 20-minute tennis lessons. A joke. I thought this was a class operation.
What does he think this is? This is a competitive business, a profit-making company. Besides, I want commission. If you stand still, you go backwards. If you don't expand, you die. This place could grow. It could be big.
Strong feelings are generated by conflict situations. Once the battle is engaged, people can feel that their egos and their self-worth are at stake. These feelings can lead people to overreact and escalate what appear to be petty concerns into major confrontations.
Before taking any definitive action, it's important to clarify our own motives. What do we hope to achieve? What is our ultimate goal?
We have to fill these idle machines.
Look, this is a health club. I want it to be a happy place. That's important to me. That it be happy.
Happy?
Yes, happy. I want everybody to be happy. I want the members to be happy. I want you two guys to be happy. Most of all, I want to be happy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Once we've overcome our own fear of involvement, gained an insight into what's really going on between the warring parties, and determined what we want from the resolution of the conflict, then it's time to decide which of the several alternative strategies available to us is most likely to succeed.
If our own interests are linked more closely to those of one combatant than to the other, the strategy may be simply to impose a solution.
George, the apartment manager. Listen, I apologize for calling you at work, but, my wife and I, we were discussing this problem we've got with the stereos, and the truth is, we don't want you to play yours at all anymore. That is until another unit becomes vacant, and then maybe one of you can move in. Well, if that's unacceptable, I'm afraid you'll just have to move out. Well, maybe not, but that's what we've decided. Yeah, goodbye.
When the basic goals are incompatible, the strategy may be compromise, which means determining what each party can live with and getting their agreement to do so.
We have to find a way that both of you can at least get some of what you want. Now, that means both of you have to be ready to compromise. Howard, is there any way out of this private instruction time bind?
Well, over at the Racket World, they take the beginners in classes of 8, intermediates in 2s, and save the private classes for the advanced. Well, what's the matter with that?
Hush, Jay. What is the matter with that?
I don't know. It's just so... Look, I don't like it. But if that's what it takes, I'll give it a try, okay?
Good. Now, Jay, what's the minimum number of new members we can take on and still meet your quota?
The minimum?
Right.
35. 25.
Finally, the strategy whereby all parties can get all of what they want, collaboration. As the name implies, collaboration means co-labor, working together toward a common goal.
I mean, we're all three very ambitious people. Isn't that true?
I guess so.
You know so.
All right, I'm ambitious.
I would never deny that.
I mean, we all want the same things, to get ahead.
To use collaboration, we must determine that there is, indeed, a common goal. Collaboration means mutual, rather than arbitrarily imposed, problem solving. To reach a shared and agreed-on solution, we must start with a shared and agreed-on definition of the problem.
You're both very dependent on each other in your work. And I'm very dependent on what you achieve. Agreed? Then you'll agree that this running war makes you achieve less and makes us all look bad.
Well, I never thought of it that way before, but yeah, I guess you're right.
I can't argue with that.
What can we do about it?
Compromise is aimed at simply establishing a truce. Collaboration is aimed at establishing an attitude of trust and mutual respect. This takes some doing, especially when hostility has become entrenched.
Well, there is one more thing.
What?
He has got to stop patronizing me.
I patronize you?
Yes, like I was some sort of incompetent, arty person who doesn't know beans about the real world.
I do not.
You certainly do.
Well, if I do, it's because whatever you say to me, it sounds like you're only a salesman. What do you know?
Is that true?
Jerry, sometimes I want to talk to you about some aspect of your designs, only I don't want to get them down.
Sometimes I have ideas about your work. I mean, things I think might help you sell. Only I don't dare bring them up.
Collaboration requires that all parties understand the other's point of view. Honest communication is essential.
And discuss our weekly and monthly workloads?
Sounds good to me.
Collaboration means getting the participants to see that they share the same ultimate goals and that it's in their interest to disarm and cooperate. It requires more involvement and harder work from the manager, but nearly always, it's worth it.
Collaboration is an attempt to serve everybody's best interest. Collaboration is based not on passive acceptance, but on active support and commitment. What makes collaboration so successful is that it does not suppress the caring that lies at the heart of the conflict, nor does it suppress the energy that flows from that caring. Intelligently and sensitively managed, conflict can be redirected into a positive force for everyone involved, a source of new relationships and new ideas.